Damn. What it was. Y'all know who it is. And you tuned in with Priceless Knowledge yourself. And I figured I'd put y'all down with another dose of this cosmic insight this evening. And shit, that's some good. Before I go any further, today's program is brought to you by Durban Kush. You know, you should go out to your nearest green dragon and get you a bag. Nah, all bullshit to the side, man. As promised, what we gonna do, man, is stay off in this moon series, and shit is finna get weird. In spirit of this grand conjunction, I figured I'd put y'all down with a little something about those people that have the moon in Aquarius in their natal chart. And even if it gets on your nerves, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do first. I'm gonna bring you a little bit about the moon in astrology and also give a quick breakdown about the sign of Aquarius in astrology. So with that being said, let's get it cracking. So what is the moon? The moon is your instinctive awareness, your emotional nature. It's about how you feel. It rules over the fourth house of the zodiac chart as well as the sign of Cancer. In Vedic astrology, they say it's about the mind. Being the closest celestial body in relation to Earth, you know, it has the strongest effect on our moods and personality, and so on a day-to-day basis, out of anything else in the solar system. Pardon me, I got mixed up for a second. And you know, and that's because think about the effect that the moon has on the Earth's tides. You know, the Earth being 65 to 70% water. You know, the moon controls them tides, and your body's 65 to 70% fluid. So think about the effect that the moon has on you. Yeah, it's gonna hit you where you feel at. And you know, the moon can represent the relationship with the mother or the lack thereof. You know, the moon is about who you are before you get to put your mask on, which is kind of what the rising sign is. And the sun sign is kind of your spirit and who you are as a whole. The rising sign is how you come across, and the moon sign is how you internalize things. It's how you see you. It's who you are. And understand that not everybody's gonna get to see your moon sign. It's kind of reserved for only those you're most comfortable with. So, you know, and some of us are never that comfortable with anybody. So nobody ever gets to see that. So that's kind of what it is, man. Nobody gets to see that lunar light shining. And, you know, the moon is about how you feel, man. That's what it's about more than anything else. Who you are internally. And your instinctive reactions. So, what's the sign of Aquarius? It ain't about what you feel. This is the 11th sign of the zodiac. It rules over the 11th house. It is ruled by Uranus and way to a smaller degree, Saturn. Matter of fact, that's kind of in the past. Once Uranus came on the scene, it's a whole new thing. And its symbol is the water bearer. It rules over the shins. And its mantra is, I know. This is fixed air, y'all. And Aquarius energy for me is all about social conscience and individuality. It's extremely visionary and pioneering, and it wants to engage others in the process. Wherever Aquarius shows up in the chart, it's going to stand out and lead the way to a better tomorrow through quantum leaps. I said quantum leaps. And, you know, it's about quirky authenticity, electric energy, and exploring new ways to advance the world, man. Being the water bearer Aquarius energy it's not personal, you know. It's all about putting your feelings to the side and getting amazing things accomplished. You know. And so, what happens when you're born with the moon in Aquarius in your natal chart? You weird in the mother. No, I'm just saying. Because I'm gonna put you up on game. In Vedic astrology, I actually have an Aquarius moon, and I identify with a lot of these traits, man. And the first 20 degrees of Aquarius, I think, in Vedic astrology is known as Shara Nakshatra, which means the 100 healers. And we'll talk about that a little more in a second. But what I'm going to tell you about that is, what I want to tell you about Aquarius is, man, it's not made for you to understand, man. It's genius. And when I think of these particular folks of an Aquarius moon, I picture an eccentric loner, an emotional free agent of sorts. You know, the kind of sigma male or sigma female that motherfuckers be talking about. You know, these people value their solitude above all else. I could say that. Do they feel? Yes. And passionately. but it's more focused on the group or humanity as a whole than intimate or personal relationships. They need a lot of space to rationalize, objectionalize, and find clarity for the brilliant minds and thinking hearts, because that's what I describe them as, having, is thinking hearts. Aquarius moons are probably avid readers, and they, being alone with a book is truly a pleasure to them. It's where they find their peace. And I found my peace in the same thing. Having the moon here in your chart, it means being receptive to fast, out there frequencies and vibrations. So this constant need for solitude really comes from the need to be alone and decipher everything that they've been picking up and translated into this physical realm, because a lot of the things they're picking up, it came from somewhere else, and they don't know how to deal with that. They can portray that they do, but they don't know how to deal with that. These people seem to have access to the mysteries of the universe or the Akashic records or whatever that is, and, that comes through in their inner lives, which they kind of detach into anytime a crisis arises. And it makes them be able to keep cool and logically figure out what the fuck to do and whatever the best course of action is for everybody involved, not just the self. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to figure out how to help everybody. And, this is the same shit that I say that, this is to make them the type of motherfucker that you love with all your heart, man. You love them with all your heart, but they're a million miles away, a million light years away, sitting on the couch right next to you. And, that causes issues. And it's not your fault. And like I said, this is extremely true for those that have the first 20 degrees or those that fall within the Shadabisha Nakshatra. And, and this is represented by like a lasso or even a hole. But upon further look, it might even be a black hole, because this lasso or hole actually contains thousands of stars, which, kind of does reflect their emotional nature. What you see is not what you get, because there is a rich emotional nature in there, but they're not going to show it to you because that's not what they're about. And Shadabisha Nakshatra stands for, like I said, the 100 healers or the 100 lovers or the 100 stars. Okay. And when it comes to the Aquarius moons and their moms, the problem is a lot of the time there wasn't one, or she was sick, or she couldn't be what she needed to be in the way of nurturing, or maybe she was more like a dad who was more strict, or, somebody who didn't place a lot of stock on the emotional side of nurturing things. And maybe she just worked too much, but whatever the case was, something was kind of missing there. And it led to this child deciding to seek nurturing intellectually instead. They went and found love in books and in learning. And, their journey in this life is really going to kind of be centered around the ability to find true compassion, because everything they've went through has kind of made them callous and calculated emotionally. But they really, 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 really got to keep in mind that, life is not a clinical. It may seem like that, but life is not a clinical, and love is still the key. It doesn't have to be intimate, because that's hard for y'all. But hey, man, love is still the key. People need to know you care, Moon of Aquarius. On another note, I've observed that Aquarius moons are beacons for misfits and even mentally unstable people. And they inherently know how to calm and soothe these people that are mentally disturbed, and they absolutely do not judge people. For whatever the reason is inside them, they don't judge. They truly fuck with and accept people from all walks of life. And you have to love that about them. And, almost from birth, they kind of, felt this urge to be different. And, sometimes they can strive to do so when the need isn't needed to do that, And they also understand from birth that, to strive to be different, you know what I'm saying? And to dare to be different is to dare to be strong. And hey, man, sometimes they're doing some crazy shit, not realizing they really are radically so. They really are radically different than the rest of us, you know. And if you want to call it weird, call it weird. I play a lot, but no, man. Like I said, man, a lot of times it's brilliant. And, you know, sometimes, man, when they're in that bullshit bag, like I said, they're gonna constantly going against the grain on purpose and stubbornly arguing shit just for the sake of doing so. And, you know, I say a lot of the stuff they do is centered around the fact that their need for freedom is stronger than anything else in them. And any attempt to put them in a box is, you know, like going to be like forcing a nebula to explode. I can say that. And the negative bag, man, this is going to be the most argumentative and arrogant motherfucker you know. You know what I'm saying? Dressing crazy than a motherfucker, you know, just to do it. Always saying some weird shit out of the blue, or even worse, you know what I'm saying? Doing some crazy shit to shock motherfuckers that may put people's lives in danger. You know what I'm saying? That may be potentially dangerous to themselves and others around them, you know, just because they want to tempt fate, man, or just because shit got boring. That's something you got to worry about, man, you know. And never want to eat what everybody else want to eat. You know what I'm saying? Their family likes the Aggies, so they're going to start going for the Longhorns and rooting for them all in their grill hard as could be, even though they really don't even give a fuck about that. You know, they really, they never want to be at home. That's Aquarius moon in a negative bag. They hate being at the house. They just can't stand it. Makes them, you know, just, they hide in their room all the time with their gadgets or whatever the fuck it is. Dexter's laboratory. No, I'm just playing, y'all. But on the evolved side, man, on the evolved side, there's nothing greater. They're humanitarians with scientific hearts and truly eccentric souls. You know, they might not want to hug and shit, but they're passionately concerned with learning as much as possible and bringing healing to the entire world. And, you know, that comes through their brilliance, okay? And my advice for y'all with Aquarius moons is to quiet that noise in your head and actually allow yourself to feel your emotions authentically, because you spend way too much time, you know, thinking about how you feel instead of genuinely feeling. And this has caused you issues your whole life. That don't mean you got to go hug and kiss everybody, man. But people need to know you care. Okay? Hey, man. It's all gravy with y'all. Shut up, be shot. It's all gravy. It don't matter where your moon is, man. Just because you built like that don't mean you have to build like that. I appreciate all the love and support, man. You know I'm down with y'all 10 toes flat. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe if you're fooling with me, even if you don't really fuck with me like that. Hit the like, share, and subscribe anyway so I can get out there and help somebody that does. You dig? And at the same time, man, if you're interested in astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below or email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. I promise you won't be sorry. Hey, man, I love everybody, man. Until later on, we continue on with this Mercury series next. Y'all keep it real, man, because that's what the fuck I'm going to do. That's always what I do, cuz.